This video is brought to you by Propix Canada Media Limited, Propix AI Technologies and InVideo, created and produced by James Cousineau. Gold Mountain. That's what they called Canada. Chinese immigrants, many fleeing poverty and hardship, crossed oceans to reach its shores. They dreamed of a better life, a chance to build a future for themselves and their families. Little did they know, a harsh reality awaited them. The journey was arduous. Crammed into the bowels of ships, they faced disease, seasickness, and the constant fear of the unknown. Many perished on the voyage, their dreams dashed against the unforgiving waves. Those who survived arrived in a new world, facing a language they didn't understand and customs that were foreign to them. Yet they persisted, driven by the hope of a brighter future. Despite the hardships, they persevered, their contributions laying the foundation for Canada's growth. Between 1881 and 1885, thousands of Chinese laborers toiled on the Canadian Pacific Railway, their sweat and blood literally laying the tracks that would connect the nation from coast to coast. It was backbreaking, dangerous work. Landslides, explosions, and disease were constant threats. Many perished, their sacrifices largely forgotten, yet their efforts were instrumental in completing this monumental project, a symbol of Canadian unity and progress. The Chinese workers, however, did not share equally in the prosperity they helped create. They faced discrimination, prejudice, and outright hostility. Laws were enacted to restrict their rights and limit their opportunities. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1885 marked a turning point. This head tax had a devastating impact on Chinese families and communities. Many were separated, unable to afford the exorbitant fees to reunite with loved ones. The tax created a financial burden that generations of Chinese Canadians would bear. Families were forced to make agonizing choices, often leaving children behind in China in the care of relatives, hoping to one day earn enough to bring them to Canada. The head tax not only separated families, but also fueled a sense of isolation and exclusion within the Chinese community. Barred from bringing over wives and families, many Chinese men remained single, creating bachelor societies in cities like Vancouver and Victoria. This isolation had a profound impact on their social and emotional well-being, further marginalizing them from mainstream Canadian society. The Chinese community, despite facing such adversity, refused to be silenced. They organized, protested, and challenged the discriminatory laws in court. The stories of families torn apart by the head tax are heartbreaking. One such story is that of Li Fuk, who arrived in Canada in 1881. He worked tirelessly for years, enduring hardship and discrimination to save enough money to bring his wife and children from China. However, the ever-increasing head tax made it an impossible dream. He died in 1936, never having seen his family again. His story, like so many others, illustrates the profound human cost of this discriminatory policy. The Chinese community, despite facing systemic barriers, found ways to resist and maintain their cultural identity. They established temples, schools, and community centers, creating spaces where they could practice their traditions, speak their language, and pass on their heritage to future generations. Theaters like the Chinese Theatre in Vancouver became hubs of social life, showcasing Chinese opera and films, providing a taste of home in a foreign land. Food played an integral role in preserving their cultural ties. Chinese restaurants, a familiar sight in cities across Canada today, were often a lifeline for immigrants, providing them with familiar flavors and a sense of community. However, the discrimination they faced went far beyond the head tax. Resilience and resistance, the spirit of the Chinese community. Despite these challenges, the Chinese community displayed remarkable resilience. They built businesses, supported one another, and fought for their rights. They challenged discriminatory laws in court, organized boycotts, and used their voices to speak out against injustice. Their efforts, though often met with resistance, helped to chip away at the walls of prejudice and discrimination. Their spirit of perseverance, their unwavering belief in a better future, is a testament to the human capacity for hope in the face of adversity. The legacy of the Chinese head tax continues to cast a long shadow on Canadian society. It is a stark reminder of the dangers of prejudice, discrimination, and the politics of exclusion. Echoes of the past discrimination in a new era. The apology, while a significant step towards reconciliation, did not erase the scars of the past. The fight for redress continues, with many advocating for individual compensation for surviving head taxpayers and their families. The legacy of the head tax serves as a reminder that the fight for equality and justice is an ongoing process. It is a call to action to confront racism and discrimination in all its forms and to build a more just and equitable society for all Canadians. The Chinese-Canadian community today is vibrant and diverse, encompassing a wide range of experiences, perspectives, and contributions to Canadian society. From business leaders to artists, scientists to athletes, Chinese Canadians are making their mark in every field imaginable. The fight for redress, seeking justice and recognition. However, it is crucial to remember that this success has not come without a struggle. The fight for equality, for recognition, for the right to belong without facing discrimination, is an ongoing journey. It is a journey that requires constant vigilance, advocacy, and a commitment to building a more inclusive and just society. The Chinese-Canadian experience is a testament to the human spirit's resilience. It is a story of perseverance, of overcoming adversity, and of holding on to hope in the face of hardship. It is a story that continues to unfold today as Chinese Canadians continue to shape the nation's identity and contribute to its growth and prosperity. The Chinese head tax, a dark chapter in Canadian history, serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of prejudice and discrimination. It is a story that needs to be told and retold, lest we forget the lessons of the past. Building bridges, healing wounds, reconciliation, and the Chinese-Canadian experience. However, the apology was just the beginning. True reconciliation requires more than words, it requires action. It requires acknowledging the lasting impact of discriminatory policies like the head tax on generations of Chinese Canadians, and taking concrete steps to address the systemic barriers that continue to exist. It requires ensuring equal opportunities for all Canadians, regardless of their race or ethnicity. The Chinese Canadian community has played a vital role in shaping Canada's cultural landscape. From the bustling Chinatowns in major cities to the contributions of Chinese Canadians in various fields, their presence is deeply interwoven with the Canadian identity. The food, the language, the traditions, and the values that Chinese immigrants brought with them have enriched Canadian society in countless ways. Legacy of the head tax shaping identity and belonging. It is essential to recognize and appreciate this diversity, to understand that the Chinese-Canadian identity is not a fixed entity, but rather a dynamic and ever-evolving one. The legacy of the head tax continues to shape the Chinese-Canadian identity, serving as a reminder of the struggles faced and the battles won. It has instilled a deep sense of community, a shared history of overcoming adversity that binds Chinese Canadians together. At the same time, it has also fueled a desire for recognition, for a place at the Canadian table where their contributions are acknowledged and their voices are heard. The story of the Chinese head tax is not just a historical footnote, it is a story that continues to resonate today. It is a story about immigration, about identity, about belonging, and about the ongoing struggle for equality and justice. A shared future embracing diversity and inclusion. It is a fight that requires constant vigilance, a commitment to challenging discrimination in all its forms, and a belief in the power of dialogue and understanding to bridge divides. By learning from the mistakes of the past, by acknowledging the injustices inflicted upon Chinese Canadians and other marginalized groups, we can strive to create a more just and equitable future for all. The Chinese Canadian experience, woven into the fabric of Canadian society, has enriched the nation's cultural tapestry, broadened its perspectives, and contributed to its economic growth. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. As Canada continues to evolve as a multicultural nation, it is imperative to remember the lessons of the past, to acknowledge the contributions of all its citizens, and to strive for a future where diversity is not just tolerated, but truly embraced. By confronting these difficult truths, by acknowledging the pain and suffering inflicted upon Chinese Canadians, we can begin to heal the wounds of the past and chart a more inclusive path for the future. Conclusion: remembering the past, shaping the future. The Chinese-Canadian experience, marked by both struggle and triumph, is a testament to the human spirit's resilience. It is a story of perseverance, of overcoming adversity, and of holding on to hope in the face of hardship. It is a story that continues to unfold today as Chinese Canadians continue to shape the nation's identity and contribute to its growth and prosperity. Remembering the past, learning from its mistakes, and embracing the richness of our diverse cultural heritage are essential steps towards building a more just and equitable society for all Canadians. Only then can we truly fulfill the promise of Canada as a land of opportunity, a beacon of hope, not just for some, but for all. This video is brought to you by Propix Canada Media Limited, Propix AI Technologies and InVideo, created and produced by James Cousineau.